Max?
Yeah.
4 picks, I think he had?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Are we seeing the end of Big Ben?
No. We've already seen the end of Big Ben. I try to explain people this. You know, when I said Brady's going to fall off the cliff, that's not saying that Brady no longer exists, right? Like he's gradually declining, because that happens to some players. Mm-hmm. No, Brady's still there. I'm just waiting for the time where suddenly he's not. Adrian Peterson, I already told you, he's gone. This guy who had a nice game, although not a lot of yards per carry, he's a useful running back. I told Stephen A. he'd be a souped-up Frank Gore. He'd do well to do that, and you lost your mind. But, in fact, that's what we're seeing. If he could be a souped-up Frank Gore, that'd be great. That's not Adrian Peterson. Not being an old souped-up Frank Gore.
He had a pretty damn good game last week.
I wouldn't say it was good. It was good. A lot of running backs could do that. That wasn't Adrian Peterson from his prime game. In other words, one day people all turn around, and they've changed the standards for a guy, which means that guy's not really there anymore. What I'm telling you about Big Ben is first when it was the Brady-Peyton era, there'd be a couple other quarterbacks sometimes who could join that elite group, and Roethlisberger was sometimes one of them. Mm-hmm. Now we're in the Rodgers-Brady, Drew Brees time, right? Mm-hmm. And Roethlisberger was sometimes one of the 1 or 2 other guys that joined that group, and we'd say he's a top 5 guy. What I mean to say is that Roethlisberger, who we would sometimes say is a top 5 guy, he no longer exists. This is not that guy. I do not anticipate he will ever be a guy again who we look at and say he's a top 5 guy. So already our standards for Ben Roethlisberger are different than they used to be. So I'm saying he's been ended. The guy we once knew has been ended. This is like the continuation of a decline in his career.
If you want to say that, then I think the why of it all is incredibly important. I think psychologically he's not the same person. I think psychologically he doesn't intimidate anybody anymore. And I think that it resonates with me profoundly when you have Le'Veon Bell like you did last year, and you had an Antonio Brown like you did last year, and Juju Smith-Schuster shows up and he's doing his thing, and Jesse James, even though he's never been Heath, his predecessor at the tight end spot, he's still good, and you've got that offensive line. You should be far more formidable than you have been. You can point to Big Ben Roethlisberger getting beat up or whatever. I think that Big Ben Roethlisberger has looked at his own football mortality. I think he himself has questioned what he is capable of, and he was supposed to, reinvigorate himself because of the arrival of Mason Rudolph out of Oklahoma State and how this dude is ultimately looking to take the job, et cetera, et cetera. We know that's not going to happen for the immediate future, but I got news for you. I watched Big Ben Roethlisberger, and I watched Denzel Ward pick him off one time. You know what bothered me about him? Denzel Ward is a rookie, and he read Big Ben Roethlisberger. Big Ben Roethlisberger didn't divert him. He fooled Big Ben Roethlisberger. He gave him the okie doke. He gave him the impression that he was going to his right when he came back to his left and had one of those interceptions. That bothered me. I'm looking at a Big Ben Roethlisberger in terms of his pocket presence, and I'm seeing a guy that used to shrug off defenders and then either get rid of the football or had an idea how close a defender was to him. I didn't see that going on. He completed just 56% of his passes on Sunday against the Cleveland Browns. Improved, no doubt, but damn it, there's still the Cleveland Browns. I don't want to hear it. So when I look at it from that perspective, if you're telling me from a skill set Big Ben Roethlisberger is done, that's not how I view it. I look at Big Ben Roethlisberger as an individual that, sure, it's good speak to sit up there and say, I'm playing for a championship. I think he's playing. He wants the money.
Nope.
I think he's playing because guess what? We got this team, and I can't just desert us. But I question whether or not the level of passion that he once had is any longer there. I don't question that about Tom Brady. I don't question that about Aaron Rodgers. I damn sure don't question that about Drew Brees, who I interviewed last year during Super Bowl week, and he was contemplating whether to stay or go. And even in contemplating stepping away from the game, seemed 10 times more passionate than Big Ben Roethlisberger. And that's my issue with him. That's my issue with Big Ben.
But Roethlisberger's taken much more of a beating than the other guys you've mentioned.
Fair.
And that can also beat the fight out of you in a way, and the will to run through the brick wall. What's interesting to me,
but that offensive line has done a good job of protecting him.
Yes,
he holds on to the ball too much.
Yeah, 5 years ago, the offensive line, not so much.
That's
but in recent years, it's been quite good.
Which is why Tomlin came on the show and got him. That's the first thing he said to me. Stevie, you got him. He was getting on the offensive line. That's what he said.
What's interesting to me about his draft class is Eli is not the same. Roethlisberger's not the same. You know who still is? Phillip Rivers, still the same guy.
I tell you this much, too. I'm not sure about Eli Manning.
Yeah, I said he's not the same.
I think he is the same. I think Eli Manning is what he has been. We'll see. We'll see. I think that, first of all, Eli Manning was never that damn great. He led the league in interceptions 3 times. Come on now.
Stephen A., I also
times
think the
Super Bowl
defense
MVP.
took a
I
step
understand
back
that.
as well.
Excuse me?
They allowed the defense took a step back.
Who?
They allowed Steelers,
Oh, well,
177 rushing yards.
You're wrong.
That was second
You're
most
wrong.
in the league.
You're wrong.
To the Browns.
Because Mike Tomlin knows I've been complaining about that damn defense for 3 years, particularly that secondary. Excuse me, no, you ain't take a step back. You took a step right where the hell you've been. You've been stuck in the mud defensively for years.
Yeah.
That's their
Real
problem.
quick, because we have 1 minute left, and I didn't get to ask you guys earlier. I want to just go back to Le'Veon Bell. Do you think it would be in his best interest right now to come back?
Nope. Le'Veon Bell should stay right where he is, and I'll tell you why. Because as he sits out, yes, he is accruing those fines, but he's avoiding damage. The price on him falls that Pittsburgh can get, making it more likely a trade can get done because another team doesn't have to give up like a first rounder or something like that.
I don't disagree with you, but I have an entirely different reason for changing how I felt last week. Because remember, last week I disagreed with you. Now I'm of the mindset that I'm siding with you. And guess what the reason why is? I don't trust those damn offensive linemen.
To protect him.
I don't trust them. Now he's got to come back to get his money because remember he's got to come back to be eligible.
Trust them because they're salty,
He's got listen. He's got to be eligible. He's got to be. And can I go Hollywood on you for a quick second here? Remember the movie Any Given Sunday?
Yep.
Remember how the offensive lineman sent the message to Jamie Foxx when he was the quarterback? Not Cleveland A. Smith, Jamie Foxx. Remember when they sent that message?
Yes.
And Al Pacino said, "Let him stay out there. Let him take it."
I wanna say this.
Knocking him upside his head. Why? Because he was running his damn mouth. That wasn't the case with Le'Veon Bell. I don't know. I'm gonna say it. I don't know if I trust the Steelers offensive lineman right now. If I'm Le'Veon Bell, I don't know if I want to put myself in that fire.
This is who needs to trade for Le'Veon Bell yesterday.
Green Bay?
The Green Bay Packers. You know what Aaron Rodgers has never really been able to do? Play action. Right? Like can you imagine? Just how do you stop this? Aaron Rodgers running play action with Le'Veon Bell, it's over. That is an unstoppable offense.